Welcome back, Pokemon Trainers. Professor Chaz here, the lab coat's on back order, and it's time for our first in a long time team building video here on the channel. We're having a team building video because this weekend is another online competition in the world of Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire called the Sinnoh Classic. So as with previous competitions on the channel, I will be taking part because the Sinnoh Classic, much like the Kanto Classic and the Johto Classic, does permit older Pokemon that have been brought up through the Poké Transporter from previous games to be used, meaning I'm going to give my guys another shot at the limelight and try to win some battles. So the basic format of the Sinnoh Classic is, it's open to the first, I think it's 493 Pokemon? I might be completely off on that number. But the Pokemon available from the Sinnoh region and the three regions beforehand, Hoenn, Johto, and Kanto, all except for your standard assortment of legendary Pokemon, and it also does ban the use of Dragonite and Tyranitar, which is interesting to note. I'm not sure why those two are particularly, prohibited from entering, yet they're allowing Metagross. But anyway, we're going to see how this goes, and I've selected my team. Initially, I was considering using the Johto Classic team and swapping in one Pokemon to try to make things a little bit more current generation, or at least, Sinnoh generation. But then I realized, nope, this format is going to be double battles, and the team that I had assembled for previous online competitions in the Classics were more single-based, or single battle-based. So I'm deciding, I've got a few ideas that I can sort of tweak the team up a little bit with more sort of, double battle format in mind, wide-ranging moves, and more defensive things as well. So anyway, with all that being said, what I'm currently doing is finishing up the super training and the move sets and such for the Pokemon. But you don't need to worry right now because we're going to jump into it right now as I cut to the part where I show you the super training and the movesets. So let's check out the team I've assembled for the Sinnoh Classic. Our first Pokemon for the Sinnoh Classic is going to be Blaze, our trusty Charizard. He is a quirky Pokemon, which is a neutral nature, so no stats will be boosted or lost due to that. And he's got the Blaze ability, of course, so if he gets low HP, his fire moves are going to be a little bit more powerful. And he's holding the Power Herb, which is the item that says any two-turn move, like a charging move, that normally you would waste a turn charging up, is going to be able to fire on that very first turn. As you're going to see, we're going to make use of that with one of his moves. So the moveset starts with Heat Wave. I had Flamethrower on him initially, but I decided since this is going to be a double battle format, I wanted to go with something that can hit both targets. It could be a problem if the opponent has Flash Fire ability or something similar to that, but chances are we can get some pretty good damage off with the Heat Wave. It's not as accurate as Flamethrower, but if it does land, it's a little bit more powerful. It is going to suffer the spread damage effect of hitting two targets at once, however, but I don't know. I decided going for some double damage is going to be probably more beneficial in some situations, and we're going to give it a try. He also has Solar Beam to deal with any water types that he might be weak to, or he will be weak to, as well as rock types, super effective on ground as well, and that is why he has the Power Herb. We're only going to have one shot at this, though, to get the Solar Beam fired off on a single turn. We do not have any weather setting, as you'll see on the team, so I can't get a sunny day up and make Solar Beam fire off on a single turn after using that Power Herb. So we got to carefully plan when to use that. And Mud Slap is a move that I probably won't even really use that much in this battle, or these battles, but it is a move he cannot relearn. It is something he learned from the Battle Frontier, I believe, back in, I want to say, not Diamond and Pearl, but Soul Silver, I think it was. Anyway, that is kind of a moot point where he learned it. He does have it. It does have the chance, or it always lowers the accuracy of the target, and it's not that powerful, though, so we're not probably going to make too much reliable use out of that. And he also does have Will-O-Wisp. Now, I was debating Will-O-Wisp or Sunny Day, but I figured lowering the physical attack of the target by burning them with Will-O-Wisp is going to be pretty beneficial and allow our team to survive some physical hits a little bit better. Now, for the super training for Blaze, we just wanted to go max speed, max special attack, and we just dropped the remainder into the defense. Not that it really makes that much of a difference. But anyway, moving on. The next Pokemon on the Sinnoh Classic team is going to be another Kanto starter, Sprout, our Venusaur. He is a relaxed Pokemon, which increases his defense and lowers his speed, which I am totally okay with. He is not meant to be fast, and he was sort of physically offensive when I had him prepared as a Mega Venusaur. But we have since switched things up. He's going to be more defensive, as you'll see from the super training. He has the Overgrow ability, again, much like Blaze, it will boost the grass attacks of Sprout if he gets at low HP, and to make not use of the Overgrow, we have Black Sludge as the held item, which will gradually heal back any poison type holding it, much like Leftovers, except if an opponent steals that from him, they're going to take damage unless they're poison type. Now, for the moveset, I learned at one point that Sprout has a little bit more physical offense than special. His special attack stat is not as good, or sorry, his special attack IV, not as good as his physical attack IV. So I can run him sort of mixed, as you'll see. Petal Blizzard is a good move that will hit every other target on the battlefield in a double battle, so both opponents and my own teammate. But you'll see I have ways to deal with that. One way would be to switch into Blaze with my other Pokemon, who will be double resistant to the Petal Blizzard. But it's got some pretty good power, and it's a physical type grass attack, which you don't see too many of those, if I'm thinking about them all. But anyway, we also have Sludge Bomb, which could get some good stab damage off on a fairy type if it comes in. We don't have any real other way to deal with fairy, so I want to try to keep this in mind. If we see some good potential fairy type offense on the opposing side, Sludge Bomb is the way to go. And initially, I usually have Sprout running the Leech Seed and Toxic combo. That is more of a stally strategy that only works really well in single battles. In double battles, I'm not going to have the luxury to be able to poison and Leech Seed things to try to gradually drain them down, because we're going to be taking hits pretty bad. So I decided to go with Sleep Powder instead. By preventing the opponent from landing some hits against us, we have a better chance to stay in the battle and get some other attacks off with the other teammate. And for defensive purposes, we do have Light Screen on our Venusaur here. It's going to boost our special defense by 50% for 5 turns. And you'll see right here the the super training for our Venusaur was to put a lot into the 2 defenses, special defense and defense, getting them both up to, well, the defense is at 270, special defense at 283. We put the remainder of super training into the attack just to power up that Petal Blizzard a little bit more. The next Pokemon on the team is going to be Egbert, our Togetic from the Johto region. Egbert is a naughty Pokemon, which increases his attack stat and lowers his special defense, so that is really not a beneficial for a Togetic, but it is what we're going to work with. And Egbert, we most recently saw you in the Pokemon Silver playthrough, just briefly as a Togetic, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you haven't seen that episode, feel free to go back and check it out. It's episode 24, I believe, but anyway, that is a side story, side point kind of thing. He has the Serene Grace ability, which will increase the special effect of any, or secondary effect of any attack he uses. The only downside, of course, is he doesn't have anything like that. I will explain something about Egbert that concerns me once we get to the moveset. But anyway, he's holding the Eviolite, which is a nice item that boosts the defensive stats for physical and special by 50% if held by a Pokemon that has an evolution but has not yet evolved. Of course, now that Togekiss has been a Pokemon introduced in Gen 4, Egbert does have an evolution now. The Eviolite is going to boost his defenses up to about 360 apiece. Of course, these are level 100 stats. Now, the moveset is nothing offensive whatsoever. That is what concerns me. If the battle comes down to nothing but Egbert left, I'm going to have to forfeit because I cannot win with the moveset that he has. He is completely supporting on the team this week. So first of all, we do have Follow Me, which is a nice attack to have in a double battle. Egbert will draw any offensive attacks his way unless it's a wide range move such as Discharge or Earthquake or something like that. So helping my other teammate not take a hit on a single turn, which will be pretty beneficial. Follow Me is there. He is our Reflect setter for the week to get our physical defense boosted by 50%, much like Sprout's Light Screen. And in case the opponent does hit us with some status conditions such as Toxic or Thunder Wave, things like that, we do have Heal Bell, which can cure all status conditions on my side once we use that. And since Egbert is probably going to be taking a number of hits thanks to the Follow Me, and just the fact that the opponent is probably going to want to take him down, he does have Roost to heal back 50% of his max HP when he uses that. For the super training for Egbert, he is on the defensive side as well. We put a good amount into the physical defense and some into the special defense. Both are at 245, as you saw. We put the rest into special attack because he did originally have a specially offensive move. Usually I go between Water Pulse or Signal Beam, but since he doesn't have anything, I probably, looking at this, should have gone into the HP stat, but it's a little too late for that now. We're going to roll with what we have. The next Pokemon on our Sinnoh Classic team is going to be the always powerful Machamp, who can now be seen in Pokemon Silver. He is a Adamant Pokemon, which is an awesome awesome nature for a Machamp to have. Boosts the attack stat, lowers the special attack stat. You're not going to see Machamp use special attacks anytime soon, so therefore boosting the attack stat with losing special attack is really not that big of a deal. So he has the Guts ability. If the opponent does manage to hit him with a status condition, he is going to get, I believe, double the attack stat, or at least a nice boost of 50%. But either way, the attack is already at 367. It's going to go even higher with a status condition. Just thinking of this right now, if I have Blaze in battle with him, I can burn him myself with Will-O-Wisp and get the attack boost. So that's going to be something to keep in mind as well. He's holding Muscle Band. In case his attack stat wasn't enough as it was, Muscle Band is going to boost all of his physical moves by 10% in power, which is definitely going to be beneficial. For the moveset, we go with Low Sweep, which is not the most powerful fighting move that Machamp can learn, but it is very useful in that it always lowers the opponent's speed when it connects. Ice Punch is there for any flying types that would otherwise resist the Low Sweep, and just for some more type coverage against ground and grass and such. And Knock Off is there to get rid of any held items the opponent might be using. Of course, there are no Mega Stones permitted. I don't know if I mentioned that yet, but we will have no Mega Evolutions in this format, and therefore we can freely knock off any item that we want, especially considering that Arceus is not permitted as well, therefore no un-knock-offable place to worry about. Now, for the Double Battle format, Wide Guard is a definitely good attack to give to a Pokemon that can learn it. It protects your side of the field from any wide-range moves the turn that you use it. Now, I think that you can use it in succession without the chance of failure. I'll have to try that out. It might not be very wise to try it out in a competition, but I might try just to see if it can work time after time. It's going to really come in handy with, for example, Sprout's Petal Blizzard. If Machamp is on the field with Sprout, I can Wide Guard, use Petal Blizzard. Machamp will not be hit by it, even though it's our own wide-range move. Anyway, for the Super Training for Machamp, you'll see we maxed out his attack stat. We got some good special defense and defensive investments, getting them both up to over 200, 211 for defense, 212 for special defense. The next Pokemon on the team is going to be one of our Hoenn, I keep forgetting that region, our Hoenn team members, Skippy, our starter Swampert. He has a Lax Pokemon, which is a boost to his defense while lowering special defense. The Torrent ability is like your standard water starter ability. If he is in a pinch, at low HP, his water moves will be powered up. And since he does have the potential to get KO'd by a grass attack, we do have Focus Sash on there. It has come in handy in the past in which, for example, a Greninja with Protein went for Grass Knot on him. He survived with the Focus Sash, went down to 1 HP, and we used his last move to do double damage of Ice type back to that now Grass type Greninja. Anyway, all this being said, Focus Sash is going to come in handy with that last move. Next is the moveset, starting with Earthquake, which is just sheer power. Of course, one hit a flying type, but it's got 100 for power. It is stab. He's got some massive attack stat, as you see there, so it is going to be pretty reliable. Waterfall is also stab, and it's on there. If we can slow the opponent down enough, we can go ahead and get the Waterfall off and possibly get a flinch. But we're not counting on flinches with that attack. We're just looking for the physical power of Waterfall to try to get some good damage off. And although, now that I say that, I could slow things down if I use the Rock Tomb cleverly. It will always drop the speed of the target. It's only 90% accurate, I believe, and it's not super powerful. But much like Machamp's Low Sweep, it's more on the support or, like, say, utilitarian side. If we're going to slow the opponent down, we can then possibly outspeed with Waterfall, maybe get a flinch. We'll have to see. Now, Avalanche is the move I was talking about that's going to work well with the Focus Sash. If he is going to get one-hit KO'd by a Grass-type attack from a Grass-type Pokemon, Focus Sash will keep him intact with 1 HP. And Avalanche is an Ice-type move that does double the damage if the user is hit by the target on that same turn. And again, like I say, Focus Sash will keep us from fainting. Avalanche could get some pretty good damage off. For Super Training for Skippy, we have maxed out his attack stat and put the remainder into the the defensive stats, getting physical up to almost 270 and special defense up to about 200. So I'm almost inviting a special attack of Grass type against Skippy just for the Focus Sash Avalanche combo. Alright, the final Pokemon on the team for the Sinnoh Classic is going to be our Manectric Scruff. I haven't used any real Sinnoh Pokemon, now that I think about it, but it is what it is. These are the guys that I think are most useful and most, what would you call it? They're most cohesive, I guess is the term, that work well together, essentially is what I'm trying to say. So, Scruff, our Manectric, is Relaxed, which is a boost for her defense and lowering her speed, so not the best, but it is okay, we're going to work with it. Her ability Lightning Rod is going to come in handy if the opponent goes for an electric move, or if she's not in battle, I can switch her in, but even if she's in battle and they go for an electric move on my other Pokemon, Lightning Rod draws it towards her. She won't take damage. Instead, she'll gain a special attack boost from that Lightning Rod drawing in the electric move. And she has the White Herb, which is an item that it gets rid of any stat drop the moment it happens. So if they, for example, growl, not that anyone would use that in the Sinnoh Classic, but if someone were to growl her and drop and lower the attack stat, it will ignore that and put the attack stat back to where it should be. I'm really including this for the use of one of her attacks, as you'll see. But here's an idea. Let's say the opponent, or let's say I have Blaze, our Charizard, in, and somebody else on the other side. the opponent goes for, or they bring in an electric Pokemon, I can easily send Scruff in place and draw the electric move with that lightning rod. Very useful. For the moveset, the first one is going to be Discharge, another one of those moves that is wide range. It's going to hit both opponents and my own teammate. Two ways to get around that. I could switch into our ground type Swampert. Skippy will be immune to that, or if Machamp is already in battle, I can Wide Guard, prevent my side from taking any hits. Now, Overheat is the move that's going to work well with the White Herb. It is a powerful fire type move that isn't fully accurate, but it's pretty decent, and it gets off a lot of good damage, but it does sharply lower the user's special attack stat after using it. And that is why we have the White Herb. It's going to ignore that stat drop and get her back to where she should be. We can get a second Overheat off if need be, or just go for discharges based on what the opponent has in battle. Now, Snarl is a nice move that really works much more well in conjunction with her Mega Evolution, which we can't use in this. Mega Evolution would cause Intimidate to drop the attack stat. Snarl is a Dark-type move that lowers the special attack stat when it connects. So, either way, we're going to keep Snarl. It's going to be kind of useful. It's going to lower the special attack of the opponent, while Blaze's Will-O-Wisp is going to lower the physical attack. So we're going to try to hinder the offensive stats of the opponents if we can. Magnet Rise is going to be pretty useful as well. If she is in battle with our Swampert, we can use the Magnet Rise, which basically renders her immune to ground-type attacks for, I think it's 3 turns. At that point, Skippy is free to fire off as many Earthquakes as he wants to. Now, for the Super Training, she is much like Blaze. Special attack and speed have been maxed out. The remainder was just dropped into special defense for whatever good that's going to do, which probably isn't that much. I don't even think it boosts the stat by 1 point. But anyway, that is the Super Training. There you see the team I've assembled for the Sinnoh Classic. Some Pokemon we've seen from previous online competitions, and Pokemon we're seeing in some of the playthroughs as well of the Classic Retro games. So feel free to leave a comment down below, everybody, and let me know what you think of the team I've assembled, and any suggestions for improvements, or different items, or different movesets that I can take into account for future battles to see if I can power these guys up a little bit more. With that, I want to say thank you for checking out the Team Builder, and prepare to watch the Sinnoh Classic online competition I'll be uploading throughout the weekend. Once again, thank you for checking out today's team building video, folks, and I'll catch you next time.